You're only young once. You should be having a little fun.
Oh, she had fun, y'all. She had fun. Hey, I'm Shailene Woodley, and today I'm going to be watching some scenes from my career with Vanity Fair. I'm very excited. For 1 second, just focus on Anna, please. I understand that the story ends in the middle of a sentence because she dies, or that she becomes too sick to continue.
I am not interested in talking about that.
But that doesn't mean that her family and her friends don't have a future, right? Right? First of all, anytime I see myself as Hazel Grace, because my hair is so short and my brother and I look so similar, I just see my brother. The whole film was sort of leading up to this last week of being able to go to Amsterdam and film these scenes and work with Willem. Willem's generosity as an actor and his presence was so wonderful to be across from and to receive and play with and react to, because most of the film had just been Ansel and I, and he brought such a different energy to this movie. He served as this mysterious character for Hazel Grace for so long in her imagination that this scene really was the valve where she got to not be the one with all the answers and she got to ask all the questions. I remember it being like a very satisfyingly emotional scene to film.
They're fiction. They cease to exist the moment the novel ends.
But they can't. I get it in a literary sense or whatever,
I can't do this, Lyla.
It's impossible
will
not to imagine
indulge your childish whims. I refuse to pity you in the manner in which you're accustomed.
Pity? I do not want your pity.
Of course you do. Like all sick kids, your existence depends on it.
This phase of my life, like, I remember people would say to me constantly, like, oh my God, your life is gonna change so much once Divergent comes out, Fault in Our Stars, it's gonna be so different. And the only thing that was different was that I was a little bit busier. I was on more planes, I got like great Delta miles. And that's kind of it. Like, my lifestyle is not very exploitative. I don't spend a lot of time in places where there are paparazzi or cameras, or I'm sure if I had leaned into that, my life would have changed a lot, but it didn't interest me, and it wasn't what fed my soul. What fed my soul was, like, after we finished Fault in Our Stars, I was 21, and we finished it in Amsterdam, and I moved to Italy and just lived in Italy as a 21-year-old in a farming village where no one spoke English, and I spoke no Italian, and I had to learn Italian. And a lot of my 20s, during this heightened moment of maybe what externally to the world looked like a big life of fame, for me felt like a life of abundance because I was doing what I loved and I never took it for granted. And then in the in-between moments when I wasn't on a film set, I was living the life that I wanted to live and seeking out experiences that fed my young adult life.
You behind this petition?
Excuse me?
I asked you a fucking question.
Hey, whoa, calm down. Calm
Was
down.
it you?
What are you gonna do, huh? Choke me?
Whoa, hey!
Excuse me.
Stop.
Oh, God.
What the hell is wrong with you?
I'm gonna sue you!
This scene makes me laugh because I love Laura so much. Where you get out, like, she's my sister, we're homies. And this scene was funny to film, and it's also funny for me to watch because we did this 8 years ago, almost 8.5 years ago, and the way that I experience my confrontation now, or my rage or anger, is so different. I see, I'm like, oh my God, Jane, me, I was so angsty during this time in my life. When I watch this scene, I see a young woman trying to figure out how to exert her power and not know where to place it. She's not really living from like a grounded place in her body. She's living from sort of this, how do I assert control in a situation that feels so out of my control? I have to do something about it and I don't really know what to do.
Is her eye okay? Apparently. She'll be fine. I need to get out of this town as soon as possible.
I got a call in I'll never forget, it was November or October of 2015. I was really sick at the time, and I was not at all exhausted by acting or the artistry and the craft of storytelling, but I was really exhausted by the act of Hollywood. And I got a call about Big Little Lies because Jean-Marc Vallée, our beautiful creator, director, who has since passed, had wanted me to play Jane. And I was desperate to work with him. I thought he was such an incredible artist and filmmaker, but I was really dead set on finding myself. And then I got a call from Laura the day before I left for India, or maybe I was actually already in India and I hadn't turned my phone off yet. And she just said, listen, I know where you're at in your life. I've been there before too. It's a lot. This world is an illusion, but what isn't an illusion is what you love to do. And what I see in you, Shay, is your purpose, at least in this moment in your life, is to be a storyteller. And I think it's a massive mistake for you to walk away from this opportunity that you really should lean into. It was because of that call that I decided to leave India and come back to the United States, and it forever changed my life. And so in so many ways, I'm grateful for Laura, but that was a massive moment of courageous friendship to say, I think that you're making a mistake, and I'm gonna be brave enough to tell you why, because I really see you, and I see something you can't see in your own life right now.
Just wanted to say that I'm so sorry. I completely lost control and I stepped out of line and I should have never shoved you like that, and there's no excuses, and I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
The beautiful thing about Big Little Lies is that we're all actually friends in real life. We have a text chain going, and it's constantly like a check-in every few weeks. Hey, what's the update? It's still happening. I keep being told that there's going to be a season 3, but I haven't read anything yet, so.
Don't get me wrong. There's a certain beauty in your resistance. Your defiance of categorization. But it's a beauty we can't afford.
One of my favorite things about watching these Divergent scenes with Kate is that we've become very close since filming these movies. And she's so silly. She's one of the silliest, playful, hilarious, like lives in the frequency of joy humans that I know. And to watch her and I as enemies in this, oh gosh, it's so funny. Why am I enemies with all my friends when I'm in movies? It doesn't make any sense. I loved Divergent and the whole series because of the action. I love action so much. To me, it's like dancing, and I love to dance. It's just like movement choreography fascinates me. And I was so lucky in this movie to have the most remarkable stunt woman. Her name's Alicia, and she had just finished doing Avatar, the first one, and she was the woman who made all of the movements and created all of the movements. And I remember I was just like in between takes, I'd just sit and watch her like a little nerd because I was fascinated by that side of movie magic. What you don't get to see when you see this movie, you think it's me being Triss, but half of the scene is Alicia making me look like a badass. The wild thing about stunts is that they really, they are dangerous no matter what, no matter how skilled you are, no matter how many times you practice a routine, there's always the chance that something can go wrong. I don't think I've ever talked about this. We were doing this scene where I'm running down the track trying to catch the train. I grabbed the train handle, but my boot got stuck in one of the cracks of the platform I was running on, and I had 0.1 seconds to decide whether I was going to dislocate my shoulder or just fall full sprint onto my head. And so I thought that might be the better idea, which in retrospect, I don't know if that was the right decision. And fully fell face forward. I remember coming to and everyone being like, are you okay? Are you okay? Are you okay? And that was at the phase in my life where I was like, I have to be a hero all the time. I can't ever ask for help. Like, yeah, I'm fine. I'm totally fine. And somehow finished that day. And I remember getting home and looking at myself in the mirror and being like, oh, I'm seeing 3 of myself right now. I am so not okay. Stunts are there. It's a no joke game to be a part of, but I do love it. I felt very devoted to what the story and what this series was and what it meant to people, and it was also just fun. I got to we were making these movies with our homies, like Zoe Kravitz is in it, and Miles Teller, and Theo James. Like, it was just a good time, a sweaty hot time for years in a row in Atlanta. I definitely wanted to make the fourth one.
What faction do you think that you would be a part of?
I'm just like dauntless by nature. I really love tactical shit. I kind of like the group mentality of being a little bit of a rebel. I don't know. I'm a Scorpio. I can't help it.
Look, whatever you two fought about over Christmas, you have to drop it. Grow up. You love your mother loves you.
I can't drop it.
You have to.
This scene in particular was a scene that I auditioned with. And my first audition, I walked out of it feeling like, I slayed it. I'm gonna get this movie. And I didn't get a call back. And I was so confused, and I begged my agents for a year almost. I emailed them every week and said, please just get me notes. Please get me notes. What did I do wrong? I know I'm supposed to do this film. And the casting director was just like, Alexander's not interested. Like, she wasn't good. I like went in and I cried, and it was like this whole thing. And finally, after a year of me bugging my agents, I was able to get a call back. And they gave me some notes, and the notes were like, don't cry, don't do anything, just be honest. And that was the audition that got me the movie.
Dad, Mom was cheating on you. That is what we fought about. When I was home at Christmas, I caught her with a guy.
On the day when we were doing this scene, AP came up to me, sat by the couch and put his hands up, and he looked me in the eye and he just said, stop acting. But like in a really kind, compassionate, gentle way. Be you is really like what he meant. That one note that Alexander gave me, I feel like shaped my entire career as far as who I became as an actor. And that's what this scene taught me how to do. And this was the scene where I got to learn it for myself because of Alexander.
Caught her with a guy, what does that mean?
I was on my way to swim in the Black Point pool with Brandy, and suddenly I see Mom and some douchebag walking into a house. His house, I guess.
Just some guy, it could be anybody.
And he had his hand on her ass. It was gross.
The only film I had seen George in before working on The Descendants was Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? Because I didn't really know much about film. And so I knew he was this big movie star guy, but like I didn't care that he was a big movie star guy. I got to know George because he would play basketball with the Transpo guys. He would hang out at lunch with the caterers, with the crew. He's such a professional and such a genuine human being who just loves to do what he does, and being around that energy every day as a young person was so inspiring, because to me I was like, this is what film sets should feel like. And now that I've worked on many, it's not usually the case. Like, it's a very rare thing to have an actor be as involved with the set and the crew as George was. To this day, one of the most profound experiences of my life.
You know, I could call up that Kim Jong-il wannabe and complain if you want. I mean, by the time you get home, you barely even have time to eat and do your homework, let alone have any fun. You're only young once. You should be having a little fun.
Oh, she had fun, y'all. She had fun. I mean, I was 15 when I shot this scene. When I started Secret Life, I didn't know who Molly Ringwald was. I was 15, didn't grow up with a TV. Like, every one of my parents' friends were like, you're working with Molly Ringwald. And I was like, what is her, why? I don't get it. Because I had never seen Breakfast Club or 16 Candles or any of her films. So I got to know her as just this like beautiful older sister, motherly figure to me, who was really protective of honoring like my authenticity as a young person and who I was, and just being like a kiddo playing a kiddo. She protected me in that way, and I'm so thankful for that, because there is a pressure for people to grow up very quickly, especially when it comes to Hollywood. And I mean, listen, the truth is, I was 15 years old. I signed a contract for 6 years having read one episode. And look, I'm so thankful for Secret Life. I got one of my best friends, Megan Park, who's smashing it as a writer and a director right now. I got to meet Molly. There's so many beautiful things that happened because of Secret Life. And also, there was a lot of lessons that I learned in terms of storytelling in general, and the types of messages that I want to be putting into the world or maybe not putting into the world. And Secret Life was a great opportunity to learn those lessons at a very young age. Starting with, like, you know, if you sign a contract, maybe read more than just one episode. It was a fun journey, and it was a great time. And and I definitely learned a lot.
Should know better than to drink what they gave me. And
These were boys that you knew? Like
oh,
boys from
yeah.
high school?
Yeah. But still. Anyway, it's not like it hurt your face, even though it was, because, no, what they gave me, like, really, I mean, it works. It knocked me out. And I did not feel anything. And
Gia is sort of explaining to Lena, after hearing some very vulnerable confessions from her, how subconsciously Lena has created a life for herself that mirrors the value of her own self-worth because of an event that happened to her when she was younger. This is something that I'm familiar with because of friends of mine who have been through something very similar. It's shocking to imagine that this happens to so many women, but it does. And so being able to handle this scene with a lot of care and a lot of devotion to the truth of what this experience can be like for so many people with Betty, and have them echo and mirror these two characters and their experience, was wild and trippy and emotional and difficult, and I think raw is just the best word to use. It's an opportunity to see how some of us grapple with trauma and actually don't grapple with it.
Because it like ripples through the rest of your life. Dude, the trauma of assault, that like it
wait,
can affect
can you stop
all of
saying
your
that?
choices.
Losing Aiden was the trauma.
No, that's not true.
Huh?
I just think there's no way.
It's my fault that I went with those guys, right? If I had
It
trusted
is not your
Aiden.
fault. Lena. Dude.
Literally is.
It is not.
Gia's an interesting character because the character of Gia, personality-wise, was an amalgamation of some things that I thought she should be, some things Lisa thought she should be, and then whatever the cosmos wanted her to be. For me, the similarities that I found in myself with her are that we are both just kind of hungry for truth. And I think Gia was very aware of that and very curious to understand why things happen the way that they happen. And one of my best friends, her child is a lot older now, but when he was about 2, I just remember it was like a year of, but why? But why? But why? But why? He just, everything was a but why. And to me, that's who Gia is. Thank you for watching.